Hello, can you hear me? Alright, seems to be working. Alright, how is it going? I almost didn't stream today, but I'm here. I'm here, you guys. I'm right here. So, yeah, this is the last stream of the week. I might finish this up early, wrap this up early, um, because I'm particularly tired, but um anyways, if you decided to join, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. So last time I drew this, and yeah, I've been drawing some cyberpunk scenes of from a concept I have, an idea I have. Maybe I'll turn it into a story. I'm thinking of how to mix it up, but we'll see how that turns out. Um. Anyways, how's everybody doing? Hola, ¿qué tal? Perdón que no había visto, no había escuchado el mensaje. Todo bien, todo bien. All good, all good. All things considered, all good. Alright, do I want to draw with a brush today? ¿Será que dibujo con una brocha? What do I want to do? I might try to make it easy on myself and just do another portrait. That's a little bit easier for me than trying to play around with other things. Um, hmm. I wonder if I can. I'm going to try to do a more like plane shape type pose. If it makes sense. I don't know if you can see that properly, so I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if this is gonna be successful or not. Doesn't seem to be a successful sketch. This is exaggerated as hell. I got too close. There you go. So this looks like a vacuum cleaner or something. Hmm. I think everyone can see the entire thing. That's a little bit better. Don't turn. What the heck? There we go. Alright. So at least I got somewhere. I thought I painted myself into a corner, literally and figuratively. I think I got out. is really weird. Yeah. The composition is not great, but I do like the pose. I mean, like I don't like that it's like towards the bottom of the page. Feeling it creates too much tension. I don't know what the heck. Why? I have so many questions about that. Like on TikTok, it shows me a little bit, like it shows me to to a bunch of people for a while, and then it shows me to nobody. I don't know. It's weird, but anyway, if you haven't, consider subscribing. It helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you, and yeah, especially if you enjoyed the drawing. uh, and had this before, so This reminds me a little bit of Akira, which I guess is another influence. If you haven't seen that movie, it's freaking amazing. Say when I start one of these things, not always do I have a plan. I I can get to like a really loose concept, or I do like a small thumbnail, like I did here. Hopefully you can see it, but yeah, I do a small thumbnail if I don't figure out a way to do my drawing, and then I try to follow that best I can. And it doesn't always work out. I This was meant to be a different pose. It's meant to be different, but this is what it is. As this is also like Edge Runners, even though I think I would say Akira and Ghost in the Shell did it first. If there is something I like about anime, I think it would be that they're like if American animation started with a still frame in within animation, I think I I believe they started with that. I might be wrong, but definitely anime perfected it. They're the masters of action using still frames. It's incredible amount of actions they can do with very few drawings. So that's something to admire from their work. I admire that. Thanks. Um, thanks. Also, thanks for joining. And I thought I wasn't going to stream. What's the highlighter for? You have never joined my stream? Have you seen my drawings before? Let me show you. Give me a second. So that's what that's for. It's a glow in the dark highlighter. This one, I like how it turned out so far. Let me go back and keep going with this. Don't need the light. Where's the? Here it is. Here's a flashlight. There you go. I don't know. It went too overboard. Eh, I'm the one that cares the most about this. So, anyways, let me see if I can find the marker that it's missing out. You don't need it. Oh, are you okay? I think he's okay. He survived. It's all good. It's all good. This my phone fell. I messed that up. You see part fish. Not this one, but he does have like a bunch of mechanical parts. If I can show it. That's it. That's it. He has a mohawk. He has a mohawk and a bunch of like a mechanical jaw and yeah. Yeah, kind of like a cyborg. Hi. I guess it would be a cyborg. If they go too overboard with the implants. Thank you. Appreciate it. If I'm trying to figure out what to do with the composition. I heard somebody say that apparently if you go to learn a craft in Japan, they tell you that they don't talk during like they just work. I don't know, they have all this different ways of doing things. I wonder if there are other places that do that kind of thing in Asia or in other parts of the world. I definitely can focus better if I'm silent. But the reality is, if you wanna show your your art, you have to be online. So unless you're super well connected, in which case you can do whatever and you can you're probably gonna have success. But for those of us that are just regular folks, well, you have to do stuff online. Name of the game. Imagine the background to be something like one of those really lit streets of New York or something like that. I don't know, Tokyo. Uh, I don't know. It depends. Uh, I don't find it sad. Like imagine that you're crafting a sword. Like whatever you do to the metal can mess it up. Uh, the level of concentration you have to have is really important. So I am thinking about that because I was watching with my wife. I was watching a video about a guy in Japon in Japan doing combs. Like I think it was wooden. Yeah, it was wooden combs, and the whole process. I don't know. It takes him months and months and months to do. Um, it's insane to think the amount of work that thing takes. But and I can only imagine the price. I was waiting for the price. They don't mention it on the on the video. But the dude, like, he has everything figured out. like every single thing, because they've been doing that for God knows how many, probably thousands of years. The same thing as with the Chinese and maybe some parts of India, when where they were able to keep the traditional way of doing things. I also heard that some of it is BS. That I heard something about the Shaolin monks. Apparently, that was lost forever. But I don't know. Somebody figured out that they could make money off of it, so they started a new Shaolin temple, and now like a few years after, because the thing at first some people went, oh, we want to meet the Shaolin masters and so on and so forth, and then they went back a few years later, and oh, the Shaolin monks reappeared. So apparently it is said that they're not they're not legit. They were. Oh, that's the wrong direction. See, I messed that up. If it should be like there. Oh no, that's not too bad. I can live with that. He's upside down. He's like jumping forward. And I started to build the scene as I went as I was drawing, and he's doing a backflip. You mean that he's like that? My thought was that he was like launching at his attackers and defending himself, but he got hit here. But he's like trying his best. Uh, no worries. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Happy 4th of July. Well, it's tomorrow, right? Okay. Well, all in all, I think I did something. So I guess they aren't necessarily physics. Uh, these are supposed to be flying cars. These are clouds. Like it. Imagine that. Let's see if I can draw what I picture the scene to be from a different angle. I'm gonna mess something up. I know it. I just know it. Yeah. Okay. So, uh, well, I guess I could zoom out. No, I cannot zoom out. I cannot zoom out. Well, I can do this with the camera. I can move the camera. Yeah. So, no, still need some more. Okay. So the how can I explain the shot that I'm so let's say that the character, if I'm on the side, let's say that the character side view, okay, the character is here doing his move forward. Maybe from the side it looks lame, but it just stick with me. So he's doing this thing. Uh, you have a bunch of buildings. Like really, this are meant to be like really far, but let's say they're here. There's a street. These are the clouds. Terrible clouds. Um, what else am I missing? Well, the camera. That's the main thing I was going to explain. Like the camera is like this. I don't know if you guys do this, but I do this when I'm thinking about a drawing. I'm thinking of where the camera is positioned. I don't know if anybody does this, but I find it easier to think like that. Uh, so this is a drawing, right? And now I'm going to get close to this example to see if it makes sense for y'all. Yeah. So yeah, the character is like shooting at them, and they're getting him back. Yeah, no worries. And you have like the lights from the buildings, the neon lights. I don't know if he's gonna get out of that one, but I guess he could try. Um, it's worth the try. It's funny because I'm thinking like I'm doing 3D. I had a teacher when I was learning 3D that he would normally say that it doesn't have to be the thing. Like if you're modeling, I don't know, a phone, it doesn't have to be the phone. It just have to look like the phone, and that's it. Like you don't need any of the internals or anything. It doesn't have to be exactly. You just have to kind of play the part, and that kind of sticks with you. I don't know. Everybody sees those things differently, but let's see if I can. Yeah, that thing about the camera. Here's another tip I didn't mention, but the thing is, for me, this might be different for anybody else. For me, I do like to practice using my imagination as much as I can. Um, some other people disagree. They like having a reference. To me, using a reference, it can be like if you want details, that's great. Like if you want, like if I want to draw a specific jacket on this character, I would look for that jacket and use those details to put on the character. Having said that, for my own practice, I try to draw as much as I can from my imagination for multiple reasons, but one is that I'm not limited by whatever the reference is showing me. If you're using a reference all the time, you're limited to trying to replicate that reference. So yeah, it's different for everybody else. It's you start with a reference. Well, like it's fine to practice with a reference. I did that for a really long time. Having said that, in parallel, like I would draw from reference, and at the same time, or in a different sketchbook, if you want, you can have one that you draw with reference and one that you use just your imagination. Because the how can I explain it? Like, imagine that you're working with Legos. When you get Legos, you have two options for Legos. Or you buy like you have a set, a specific set, and you stick to the instructions. In this case, that would be the reference. You stick to the instructions, or like how a lot of people eventually start playing with Legos is that you just have a bunch of random pieces and you start to try to build your own things. So what I try to use is the Lego parts, like I don't know, a dummy character, and I try to pose it in a specific way that I want to communicate an idea. Um, that's my own take on using reference versus not using reference. Having said all that, to get better at anatomy, you need reference. To get better at drawing something specific, like I want to draw a tiger, well, look for a reference of a tiger. Like those are things that already exist, and you don't wanna, like, you're not going to reinvent a tiger that already nature did a perfect job doing that. So it wouldn't make sense. You can build your mental library to a point that you can try to make a tiger from imagination, and it still usually doesn't like it. I guess you can stylize it, but I'm pretty sure like people that do really good stylized versions of something in real life, they use some form of reference. Anyways, I don't know if I'm making sense with what I'm saying, but that's my thought process about this. Um, like I wanted to learn how to draw superheroes when I was growing up. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, usually I feel like I'm making no sense. Um, so growing up, I wanted to draw superheroes. So the way you learn is that you learn how to. Let's see if I can. So you learn how to, like, you start with stick figures, right? that would be like going back to what I was saying. That would be part of your Lego set. Like, I have this. Okay, what can I do with this? I can put him on a pose that he's like, I don't know. Let's say he's getting ready to fight. So his arms up. Of course, is that you can look for reference for the poses, and maybe this is not the best arms up that I've done, but so that's a Lego piece. Well, another Lego piece is then you start adding more to it, and at least this is the way I learned how to do this. Like, I started with all this, and then I started to just, sometimes I need to go back and do some of this, but I started with this, and then I started to build up. So soon you, after after you practice this for a while, you can rotate this um I was gonna say dummy, um on your mind. Like, you can try to turn it around, and imagine, like, reference could be your own pencil. Like, you see how to the camera this end is larger than this end, so that gives you, like, I know that if I draw this character from above, I do need to do another, like, this line right here, right? So everything gets compressed. um I don't know if that makes sense, but everything gets compressed. It's the same idea, but everything follows that. Like, let's say that the arms would be easier if you keep him on a straight pose, because it's more similar to what I'm talking about, the pen. Again, not the best, but trying to communicate the idea. So yeah, let's say this is the top of the head. So that's another pose. This one, same thing. I have to use the other part of the Lego set and add it to this guy. So you start with a bunch of random pieces, and eventually you can turn those pieces into whatever scene you need to. And what I was gonna get to, and I didn't get to, is that if you wanna draw uh, another approach that I don't use, but a lot of people use that, especially in digital, digital mediums because it's simply faster. It's way faster. But you have to know this part. You have to know this. If you don't know this, well, good luck to you. You you need to know this part. Um, like of course now, ChatGPT and all those programs are trying to scrape the heck out of every artist in the planet and uh, take everybody they can out of business. But having said that, traditional art is I don't think is gonna go anywhere, regardless. So if you wanna get better at drawing and creating, you need to know anatomy and like the basics of it. What I was gonna get to is that in you can do like remember that I was talking about this being in 3D. You can find characters, and I think I don't know Blender that much in that regard because I haven't used it for that purpose. I haven't done animation there. I don't think I've done some simple stuff. I know Maya, Max, and so on, but usually they come with a set of like a rigging skeleton that you can post or you can find in online a bunch of skeletons that allow you to post. Like you can find rigs for free online, so you can set the scene. If you need your own reference, you can set the scene to whatever you need. Say this is in 3D, so you would have like all the freaking lines. You can set the scene of the character and a bunch of boxes. Make it look nice to whatever you need. And you're just trying to focus on what is within the frame that is your shot, and you're basically composing to the camera. That's how movies are made. They compose to the camera. They don't whatever it's out of frame, out of frame, out of mind. They don't care. They don't freaking care. Like why would you? It's unless you need to rotate the camera, like you have to do multiple angles. Uh, it's oftentimes easier to just focus on what is within the camera. Exactly. So the thing is that the tricky part with all that you've seen me do today is how you can figure out how to do that without erasing. How can you do that effectively and consistently every time you go for a drawing? Uh, that's why it takes so long to get better at this, because it's a matter of memory, like muscle memory, and your eyesight getting used to what you should be doing. It just takes time. It takes time. Like I didn't erase anything. I did try to take my time with it. So whatever I put on the page uh, is intentional. So yeah, it. I like practicing like this. Might not be for everybody. If you talk to every artist, they're gonna tell you different things. After Kim Jong Gi um, like became what he was, I'm pretty sure a lot of artists started to try to get to that level of mastery. And yeah, I'm without I don't feel I'm nearly uh, as good as one of those masters, but I try my best to do work that I'm proud of. Sometimes I hit the mark. Sometimes I feel like I wanna throw it in the trash. Like this one, I enjoy the way it looks. It has a being able to bring enough character to a drawing. That also takes time and practice. Like for example, like yesterday I did this one, and even though you could say this one is somewhat successful, I feel it needs more of that, uh, more character, more uh, depth, if it makes sense. Uh, so I think in that regard, it's not that successful. Um, Even though I don't mind it, I like the overall idea and the concept, but I would change some things on it. This one I feel it's better than the last one. So that's what I try to do. Um, when it's like poses that are more static, they can be easier depending on what you want. Um, like for example, I within the same idea, this one, uh, I consider this one a little bit more successful. But before that, I tried to draw this one, and I was like simply I wasn't in the right mindset. Like this is freaking absurd. It's way out of proportion, and it doesn't work. The camera is in a weird position. Like it doesn't. It's not successful. Before that, that same day, I did this one that I kind of like the design, but I don't like the pose. It seems to me like yeah, the composition I don't like it. So yeah, maybe I haven't talked about this before in that level of depth, um, or that profoundly, but yeah, like you have to. I think did mention that you do have to be critical of your own work within, like you also have to not be too critical so that you're like, oh, I hate it every time, because sometimes you're gonna uh, improve and sometimes you learn. Hope that makes sense. Um, Anyways, I'm way past the hour mark, so I'm going to end the stream. Um, if you decided to join the stream, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Uh, Consider subscribing, hitting that like, hitting that bell, and all that good stuff. It's completely free for you, and it helps me a bunch. Thank you. Appreciate it. Again, thanks for joining. Um, yeah, I'll be back Monday, um, around the same time. I'm still figuring out the schedule, but yeah, it's usually 9:30 p.m. Argentina time. If you wanna join, anyhow, Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you next time. Let me find my music here. Bye.